Hey guys, I'm Rachel Cruze.
I'm George Kamel.
And this is Smart Money Happy Hour. Cheers, George.
Cheers.
Very refreshing. All right, this is the podcast where two friends who happen to be money experts talk about what you're talking about. Everything from pop culture, current events, and of course, money.
And today we're talking about unrealistic money expectations in TV shows.
Oh,
there's a lot of them.
This is a lot. We're not even going to touch movies on this episode, so get ready for maybe another episode, just TV. And as we started diving into this, George, there's a lot of unrealistic
Nothing is real
lifestyle
anymore
compared to what the jobs these characters have, what they do.
That's what makes TV great.
Everything.
What would House Hunters be without like a guy who's like, I'm a dog walker, and she's like, I'm a freelance poet. Our budget, $2.2 million. And you're like, how? What? What are they doing?
How does that happen? I know, and it's everywhere. But before we dive in, George, today we're sipping on a mocktail.
It's a good one.
Yes, it is.
It is called the Sundowner, and we'll tell you what's in it. But I'll tell you what's not in it: alcohol.
That's right. But it's very refreshing.
So
it's really good.
Around. Stick around. We'll give you the rating. We're going to give you the cost of what it takes to make it at home, and maybe the recipe if you're lucky.
Yeah, we'll throw that in there. You know, we're generous people.
So generous.
I know. Okay, George. If there was a TV character in the world that you're like, I just am a little bit jealous of, like I could be that character. Like everything from like, it could be their job, it could be their style, their clothes, their life. I don't know. Is there like a character that you're like?
Yeah, I would say Chandler from Friends. I always was like, you want to be Chandler. He's kind of like above it all. He's the wittiest of the bunch.
For sure.
You know, his life's not all there, but you know, whose was in that show?
Yeah, it's true. We're going to break that down.
But he was just the quickest. To me, he was the funniest.
Okay, that's good.
He had the snarkiest lines in there. How about you?
So you went more personality than like...
But then like their life and their job. I feel like women there's way more of that in the women's side. Is there a character for you where you're like, I wanted to be her growing up?
It's not that I wanted to be her, but I'm like the lifestyle of Gossip Girl, like... really uber wealthy in Manhattan, I just think is fabulous. Like even House of Cards on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Just their style. It's like that DC kind of like a little bit old school, but yet contemporary style. Olivia Pope.
Oh yeah.
Scandal. I like her.
Wardrobe alone.
I like her wardrobe. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of characters. I was like, I see you. I could do that.
I will say Tom Haverford from Parks and Rec I deeply connected with.
Shoot, I never saw Parks and Rec.
It's time. Guys, tell Rachel she needs to watch it.
I know. I'm so sorry.
Enough
Everyone's
reality
laughing,
TV.
so everyone knows who you are.
You need to stop watching that fake TV and start watching fake sitcoms.
Fake sitcoms and do it all.
Yikes.
Oh, man. But it is, we talk about comparison a lot because it can be really easy to compare your life, obviously, on social media and all this. But then, you throw in some fancy TV shows and you're like, oh, man. They just always look put together for the most part and have a very cool life, a very cool apartment, a very cool whatever, fill in the blank.
It's normal to be jealous of those things. You're like, I wish I could not work and still have a great life, have an awesome friend group, which is like most TV shows.
I know, and just live that life. What's that like?
Because you never see them working. That would be the lamest TV show ever, except for The Office, which again, you rarely see them actually working. But.
That's so true. I know. So anyways, the comparison thing is very real, but we don't want to let Hollywood interfere with our goals.
My joy.
No, we're not.
Not today.
We're not going to compare our life to them, those people.
Well, we're going to reframe all of this in a healthy way.
Yes,
by looking at what's not realistic and then showing you what is realistic.
Yes, it's going to be fun.
So quick disclaimer, Rachel, for all the listeners out there, we found a lot of conflicting numbers, you could say, when we were researching all of these fictional stories and living situations. So we did our best to fact check all of this and adjust the numbers accurately based on 30 years ago. And we found that it was all about location, location, location. Most of these shows take place in big, high cost of living cities.
Yes.
And so you've got to take that into account that, 1990s New York City, they would have been making more money than people in Boise, for example.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. So we, again, tried to kind of find that middle ground from all the numbers we saw. So here's a realistic picture of what the real world would look like for these characters. So can we start off, George, with
your favorite?
Friends.
What is it about Friends that you love so much?
I think it's just funny. I mean, I've seen every episode like multiple times, and it still makes me laugh. Like I have some of them memorized, and it still makes me laugh.
That's impressive. Did he grow up watching it, or was it later in life?
It was like high school, like late middle school, high school, and then even at like Sam's Club, they had the DVD box sets with every season. Like back when I was in like a sophomore or like a freshman or something, and I remember going and they had it in this massive pack. But we couldn't buy the massive pack because it was so expensive. So we bought like individual seasons, and you get a season for Christmas and all that. But I have all 10 Friends seasons on DVD at my house right now.
That's impressive. Do you even still own a DVD player?
We do.
I guess you
actually,
do because of
kids. I know.
That's
we have a lot of DVDs.
I can't tell you the last time we popped the DVD player open.
Well, that may be my baby gift to you, George. Get you a DVD player because you're going to be watching some Baby Einstein and some other things. It's going to be great.
Don't they have that on demand now? Why do I got to pop in discs?
Because you can get used DVDs on Amazon. That's what we do.
Listen, it's got to be on demand. What's Netflix doing?
Hey, if you get a minivan with a DVD player, you're going to have some DVDs.
I'm not ready for the minivan, Rachel. This is a lot at once. One step at a time.
One step at a time. Okay, let's talk about Friends, George.
So let's hit each character.
Okay.
Starting with Rachel.
Yeah, we'll start with her because
was that your favorite?
She's so great. Her or Monica.
Well, because your name's Rachel. Were you like, I'm a Rachel or no?
I probably have more of a personality than Monica, I think.
Really?
I don't know. Rachel likes to...
Well, because Rachel's, she's the spender.
Yes, she is.
Monica's very OCD.
Are we talking about life or money habits?
I was just thinking more of their personality traits.
Do you think I'm a high-strung person?
No, and I think Monica is.
I do. Okay, so maybe I am more chill.
Yeah, wouldn't you guys say Rachel's
self-aware. Chill? Yeah, Rachel is very chill. Okay, maybe I am more Rachel. I don't know. Okay. Monica's just kind of hyper and she talks fast a lot and I don't know, has her systems in place, and I kind of feel like I can be that way.
You love a system.
I love a system. Give me a list all day long.
Okay,
so Rachel, again, Jennifer Aniston plays her. Rachel Green, we love her. So she got hired as a waitress at Central Perk, which was the coffee shop that they hung out at all day, every day. Didn't work. They just sipped coffee all day for most of it. And so she started there as a waitress, and then she climbed the fashion ladder with doing like Ralph Lauren. She ended up having an interview with Gucci at one point toward the end of the series. So yeah, so she moved her way up in the fashion industry.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for
Rachel.
Rachel.
Is that realistic? Like that quick, consistent success? Did she earn it? I don't know the plot line there.
Yeah.
Like how did she go from waitress to like I'm in the fashion industry? Yeah, she got
like kind of an entry level job at Ralph Lauren. Was her first big career job. She kind of worked her way up there. Yeah, I kind of feel like she did it realistically. I'm gonna give it to her.
I didn't know if she like stepped into a high level role there because I started here as an intern, so I connect with Rachel in that.
Do you feel like one with her?
Me and Rachel.
So a fun scene though was that she actually cut up her dad's credit card in season 1.
Wow.
I'm like, does she know about Ramsey?
You think David Crane and old Marta Kaufman were secretly Ramsey fans back then?
The creators of it.
Maybe.
Maybe so. We never know.
But is that realistic? Like, if I cut up my dad's credit card,
Well, for her, it was a big deal because she came from her dad paying for everything, came from a wealthier family.
It was a symbolic.
Yes, symbolic
move.
of her being on her own. And they all cheered her on.
Oh, got it.
See, there's some great morals there.
Yeah.
So, again, waitress, minimum wage. And then she could have ended up making as much as $100,000 at Ralph Lauren, is what we predict.
I believe it.
She had her own office, her own assistant by the end of the series, so she was doing great.
That was quite the episode.
Good job, Rach. Good job.
Proud of you. Mm-hmm. Let's move on to Monica. Mm-hmm. Monica would have earned about $35 to $70K as a chef or caterer throughout the 10 years that the show aired, and miraculously, her apartment was rent controlled, because she inherited it from her grandmother. So apparently she only had to pay $200 a month for rent.
Yep.
Can you imagine?
No, not that. And their apartment was huge.
Gigantic.
Compared to like
unheard of in New York City.
So wow.
Which explains how Rachel was able to move in with her on a waitressing salary.
Yes.
Even split the rent. That's $100 each.
Okay, so explain rent control, because this is going to be a hot button term that we use throughout this episode, because lot of the characters claim this.
I feel like writers got lazy or like, oh, just make a rent control.
Just rent control. Because how common? I mean, it was pretty common.
New York City is, I think, the one that it's most known for. But in big cities, you'll hear terms like rent controlled or rent stabilized. So rent control is a stricter policy and more severe. So they fix the rent to a specific price, which often happens with older properties. So people who have lived there for 30 years, long-term tenants, they will keep the rent at a certain rate so that they don't get
priced
booted out.
Mm-hmm.
Rent stabilization is a little bit different, where it limits the price increase to a certain percentage annually so that renters aren't blindsided. Because otherwise, nobody could afford to live anywhere. And so these systems exist to maintain affordable housing.
Yep.
So sorry if that doesn't exist in your city.
Yes, but it's there. So that's how Monica and Rachel have their big apartment. So I guess, I mean, they never said about Joey and Chandler's apartment that it wasn't under rent control, because Joey was a struggling actor, not making a lot.
He was making it.
Yeah, anywhere from $45,000 to $80,000 with his guest appearances in some movies and shows. But he was Dr. Drake Ramore on a consistent basis on the Days of Our Lives.
Great character. He crushed that role.
He did so good.
So his income,
funny.
I don't know what, an actor would have made back. There's so many factors that go into how actors get paid. But between 45 and 80K plus more for roles if he did commercials, guest appearances in movies, brief stint as a game show host.
Yes, he did. He did do that.
That was fun.
So Ross was a paleontologist at a museum. So on average would have made about $50,000, but then became a professor at NYU. Yeah, 75.
Respected university.
Yeah, so he could have made $75,000 at that point in the show.
That's legit.
Yeah.
So these are all like, for the 90s in New York City.
Yeah. Yes.
Realistic salaries.
Yeah, but still for their apartment, because Ross lived on his own, and he always had nice apartments. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Rent control.
I feel like they had some family money though. The Gellers,
You think? Kind of like the old
a little
family
more uppity.
next door.
Some old money happening there. Who knows?
Maybe so.
Okay. Phoebe. One of my favorite characters, worked as a masseuse, approximately $45,000 a year plus tips, probably under the table,
She was probably doing some illegal stuff too.
Shady deals
at some
happening.
point in Phoebe's life. She was.
And of course, on top of the masseuse career, a freelance musician.
Yes, she was.
Occasional caterer.
Smelly cat.
The greatest hit of all time.
So good.
Can you sing it for us?
No, you're not going to trick me, George.
Dang it.
You're not going to trick me.
So close.
I will say the lyrics, smelly cat, but I will not
sing it.
Go into tune.
You got to pay extra for that.
That's right. Okay, and then last but not least, we got Chandler, your favorite. And the running joke is no one really know what he did for a living.
They did it on purpose.
Sponsor was what Rachel guessed he was.
That's right.
And Monica was like, that's not even a word.
That's not a word or a job. So he worked some kind of desk job that he hated.
Yeah, so we're going to say
apparently made good money.
65 to 100 would be our
Over
guess.
the years.
Yeah, why not?
And left that job and cut his pay in half to start over in advertising towards the end of the series.
That's right, when they're going to move to Oklahoma.
And even with his wife's Monica income, I mean, it feels kind of unrealistic, but I'll go with it.
Yeah, it's still that Manhattan life, and whew, I don't know, but we love it, and we love a good pivot.
One of Ross's greatest moments.
It's just so good. So
again, I love that they were all chasing a dream, and they had this tight knit friend group. No matter what happened, they were there for each other.
And it was
I'll be there for you. It's in the
when the rain
theme
starts
song.
to fall.
I almost got Rachel to sing. You see, that's as close as we're going to get in today's episode.
All right, let's pivot to another show, George. One of your faves.
New Girl.
New Girl. This is a funny one.
Have you seen New Girl?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Okay.
It's funny. I'm not as like a dedicated fan as I am to Friends, but I can hang with the combo.
I think they've got a good cult following going. I started watching it because when I started dating Whitney, she liked it. And so what do when the person you're dating likes a show?
You watch New Girl.
And then I became obsessed. So in New Girl, the main character, Jess, starts out as an unemployed former teacher living in an LA loft with 3 dude roommates. 4 small bedrooms, 1 bathroom.
Yes.
Chaotic.
Chaos everywhere. And
but it's fun.
Yeah, but there's some conflicting views on the internet with the likelihood of the scenario that
people on the internet have opinions about a fake show.
Isn't that crazy? There's a lot. There's a lot we found, and it was great. So some think that the situation was very realistic because you pull 4 people's income together, you could do it. Some people say absolutely not.
Well, estimated rent would be between $700 to $1,000 per person. Which tracks Winston and Schmidt, they had full-time jobs in law enforcement, corporate marketing. So they both probably made about $60,000 a year in the LA market.
Yep. And Nick and Jess, not Lachey and Simpson.
You would get confused.
Correct yourselves. Yep.
Different characters.
The other Nick and Jess probably could they probably struggled a little bit to pay the rent because they had just off and on careers with bartending, unemployed statuses, like all the things.
Why is everyone unemployed in TV shows? I guess that makes it more exciting.
Yeah, because there's a struggle. You got to figure it out.
You want to feel like you're better than them. You're like, well, I have a job at least.
I have a job.
Well, if you were single, Rachel, would it be worth it for you to pay $1,000 or more to share a bathroom with 3 other people?
Oh,
I don't know that I could do that.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people to share a bathroom.
I have trust issues.
I think the older I get, the less likely I am to do it. I feel like right out of college and stuff.
Yeah, when's the last time you had to share a bathroom with roommates?
My senior year of college.
Wow. Was that chaotic with a bunch of girls?
You know what? There were 3 of us that shared a bathroom.
Wow. Any tips on saving money with housing? Because this is something that we get pushback on. It's like, well, Rachel, I can't have a roommate. What do you want me to do?
Oh, I know. You can have a roommate. We're not saying not have a roommate, but also 5 people sharing a bathroom is maybe not what you have to do. So I think location is big. We talked about that. Location. So the closer you are usually to a bigger city, the more rent you're going to pay. Further out, the less. I'd say a roommate is a great option to split some level of the rent. I mean, it's huge. I think that's great.
And most of my roommates were friends or, newly made friends, not like strangers on Craigslist. So that's a good cat. Or mutual friends. And I had roommates up until I was married pretty much.
Yeah. So I think that is a great way. But again, we're not saying you have to go and live with 18 people and share 2 bathrooms.
Yes.
We're not saying that.
And when I moved to Nashville, I did not live in the city proper.
Yes.
I lived on the outskirts in a different town, and rent was way cheaper. I want to say when I moved here, rent was like $800 or something for a 2-bedroom. It was insane.
Oh, no way. Ooh, that's great.
I know.
Now
then it jumped to $1,200. And last I paid when I had a roommate was $1,600. So we split it, $800 each.
Yep.
Which is normal.
Totally, yeah. So again, it's a great way. And then think about your bills and stuff. I'm just be smart about utilities and that kind of thing, because that's a way to save too.
Absolutely. Okay, so Nick in the show, New Girl, often complains about shared bills like Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi, as some call it, and tries to fix things around the loft instead of having to pay his portion of the utilities, and things go awry, as you can imagine. And we've all had a roommate who thought they were exempt from the electricity bill. Jess is somehow able to afford all the latest clothing, constantly shopping, while being an underpaid educator. How she did it, I have no idea.
But
credit cards?
Figured it out, probably. I'm going to say debt was probably a part of that.
But she ends up getting a VP, vice principal position, so that's good. She was probably making about $60K, a little more wiggle room there. But the style choices of the TV characters are one of the most misleading aspects, because it's not even the job or the living situation that makes it feel out of reach. It's the picture-perfect aesthetics of the apartment. They have this beautiful loft, and the furniture's amazing.
It's great.
The hair, the makeup, the wardrobe. And most of the people you see in New York or LA on TikTok, they don't have their lives perfectly together with beautiful spaces.
No, it's not a set. Which this is. And
that's a great call out. It is not real.
They do a great job of that.
Let's move on to another great show, Full House. But another show full of very confusing, unrealistic money expectations.
So Danny Tanner is the dad, Bob Saget. And he was a sports broadcaster. And at the time of the show in 1987, it would have been around $33,000. So he eventually got promoted to the morning show host, which that would have been closer to $53,000. And
that still feels wild considering all of these people lived in this amazing Victorian San Francisco home.
Yeah, they were in one of the painted ladies' houses.
Have you been over there?
Do I? No,
I've been there. It's magic.
Is it so fun?
Well, everyone is just playing the Full House song on Instagram while doing the pan of the house.
Yes,
but it's fun.
So good. So that's what's funny is that house at the time would have cost $444,000, and today it's almost priced around $3 million.
Wow.
And other painted lady houses are going for, are you ready for this? $6 million. Oh,
I'm gonna throw up.
It's an expensive little row right there.
Goodness
all those
gracious.
Houses.
Well, hey, that's a heck of a deal at $444.
I know.
To appreciate all those years later.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
So you had Joey, Uncle Jesse, DJ, Stephanie, Michelle, eventually Aunt Becky, and their twin boys. They're all living in this house.
Yes, and this beautiful.
Who was paying for this? Did Jesse and Joey ever even pay rent?
That's a good question, because Joey was a comedian, right?
Struggling comedian at that.
Yes, and Uncle Jesse was a songwriter?
Musician,
Yeah. Played some tunes with the Beach Boys.
That's right.
Remember those episodes?
I love those episodes.
Classic.
I had definitely looked up to Uncle, I was like, I want to be Uncle Jesse. I wish I was that rock and roll.
Yeah, pretty cool. And Aunt Becky, I guess, would have definitely contributed from her news anchor position that she was with.
She had a real job.
Yes.
A bona fide career.
All the things, Aunt Becky. So I'm going to say that she contributed too.
Well, and they lived in the attic, so hopefully that was cheaper.
That's true. Maybe they all did split some rent or a mortgage.
I hope so. Again, not an exciting part of the show. If they're all just sitting down going, all right, here's your share of rent,
That's
pay
right.
up.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay. Next up, this is one that I'm embarrassed to say. I think I've only seen a few episodes.
No.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's time, Rachel.
Seinfeld.
They just celebrated the 25th anniversary of the finale.
Good for them.
Listen.
It's great.
Whitney and I just wrapped watching the entire thing all the way through. It was a big moment
Is
for
it just
us.
so great, though?
It really is.
I mean, Jerry, he's great. I get it. Like, I just haven't done it.
It's the show about nothing, if that helps at all. It's really, there's no real plot.
Kramer.
Which makes
I know
it great.
him.
You know Kramer.
Yeah.
So it features 4 singles living in New York City, Jerry, Elaine, George, and Kramer.
George.
And the biggest plot hole is Kramer's financial situation.
Okay.
He's kind of like the Chandler of the group, except he doesn't even have the desk job. It's just,
yeah.
He's just kind of like grifting and mooching and just doing like oddball entrepreneurial stuff, getting into trouble. But Jerry's got this West 81st bachelor pad in New York City as like a kind of an inconsistent comedian. Like he's doing okay.
Yeah.
He had some ups, but it still feels like, how did they pay for this thing? So I wonder if there was some rent control going on there.
In there.
Because
And
his
it was
salary
New
is
York?
probably
New York?
$45,000 to $75,000.
New York?
Yeah.
Would they have been friends with the friends?
I don't know if they were friends with the friends.
No,
I
not
don't,
if they. It's a hypothetical, George. This isn't
but that's
real
where
life.
I go. I don't think Jerry Seinfeld would ever associate with their kind.
Why?
I think he's too judgmental.
Oh, was he a judgmental character?
Everyone on that show are like, they're super judgy.
Oh, funny.
Yeah,
of
they
other
think
people.
they're better than everyone.
Oh, really?
So I think they would have been too uppity.
Is that part of the comedy? Is like.
Yes.
Okay.
He's like, they're kind of terrible people who don't grow.
Oh my gosh. Sounds like
I mean, that's a fair summary of the show.
We're getting nods. We're getting nods.
But that's why I like them. They're unashamedly who they are. And I think they would have made fun of Ross and Rachel and Chandler and Joey.
Wow. I don't know if I like that show or not.
You'll love it. Okay.
What did George do?
George had just a ton of different jobs.
Did you say what Jerry did, the main character?
Jerry's the comedian.
Oh, that's his character on the show, too.
Yes.
Well, that worked out well for Jerry Seinfeld to be Jerry Seinfeld
but when
on
you look
Seinfeld. Is he playing himself?
Yes. Is that not amazing? And in the show, they're trying to pitch a show to NBC called Jerry.
Stop it, really?
That is basically the show that they're actually in. It's so meta.
So is he... yeah, it's a little confusing. So he's playing himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shouldn't that be all of our goals, to just play ourselves
I
in
think
life?
so.
I think it's a beautiful picture of what life should be.
Yeah, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Go home and watch an episode. So Jerry's apartment could have easily been $2,500 a month. And he's making 45 to 75. So easily 40% of his income could have been going towards that rent.
Uh-oh.
Which is a lot
and
for living alone.
That's a shame here on Ramsey Solutions.
What's the number?
Because we talk about 25% is ideal, but we know that's a pretty conservative number. People do kind of freak out. We get it, but we want your income to go other places. You want to be able to invest and give and spend and do other things with your income than just pay a mortgage.
That's true.
So when it ups to that 40, 50, 60%, it's a little out of balance.
Well, considering their lifestyles, too, they're just constantly spending. Jerry's dating life was insane. 9 seasons, he dated 66 women.
Oh, my gosh.
How did he afford all those?
Is Jerry
coffee
Seinfeld
days?
married in life?
In real life, he is.
So
But he
not
got married
on the
a little
show.
later. Yeah, not on the show. There's also a spot where he loans Elaine $5,000 and he hides $1,500 in a laundry bag and forgets about it.
Oh, no.
And somehow he consistently feeds Kramer. Kramer's constantly coming in, opening the fridge, grabbing whatever he wants, and then leaving.
It's kind of like Joey on Friends.
There's always the moocher on any TV show.
For sure.
So it's kind of out of whack. He also buys his parents a Cadillac at one point as his comedy career kind of picks up, which is very nice.
That is generous.
He makes a large commission from a show, so outrageous generosity. Love to see it.
Okay.
But then Kramer, always unemployed, chasing after some get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah.
He makes a coffee table book about coffee tables.
That's funny.
He tries to use the recycled cans and run a scam where he goes to Michigan to get more per can and then drive them back. It's out of control. You got to watch. You love him.
Kramer.
And then George is constantly losing his job. He gets all these.
He seems angry every
gigs.
time I see it on TV. When it's on
well,
TBS.
His tagline is like, George is getting upset. Okay. That's kind of his thing.
Okay.
So
not happy.
There's a lot going on there, but they're a great group of friends. And anyways, it's very unrealistic, but also they're not the kind of people that you envy their lives when it comes to money, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Well, ones that you probably would envy a little bit, their lives when it comes to money and lifestyle. Sex in the City. Carrie Bradshaw, for instance, she's the main character.
Character energy, for sure.
So apparently she only pays $700 for her brownstone near Central Park on the Upper East Side. Rent control. Well, we're going to have to say that for sure. So before all her book deals, she made approximately $300 a week from her column. And then she is constantly buying expensive shoes. So like $400 pair of shoes on the reg.
The math ain't mathin', Rachel.
I know. So again, her going out expenses, her lifestyle, all of it doesn't really match quite her career. You look at Miranda. Now she works for a successful New York City law firm, so she could have made anywhere from $200,000 to $350,000. So she's actually
that'll give you a nice life.
Charlotte could have made around $45,000 to $100,000 as a fine art dealer, and then Samantha, PR guru, celebrity publicist, all of that could have made $150,000 to $300,000.
So these were some high power, highfalutin women.
And then it came with all the Cosmos and all the fancy.
Did they like invent the Cosmo? I feel like
they kind of made it famous.
famous.
I feel like when you think of Sex and the City, you think of Cosmos.
I don't remember that show. Like, did they use a lot of credit cards on that show? I wonder if they're racking
I'll be
up
honest. I'm not like a loyal fan to this show. I've seen it, but I'm not like Friends. Out of all of these we talked about is where I'm diehard. So all the other ones I'm a little bit more sparse in. But
you gotta imagine they're swiping.
Great. Now the movies are great. Sex and the City movies, like their fashion and their trips and everything is pretty fun. So, all right, George. So we've covered a lot. So what are some like key takeaways from this?
Number one, what you see on TV or Instagram or TikTok, for that matter, is never the full picture. So think about all the behind the scenes details next time you might be tempted to compare your circumstances to fictional characters, which I'll include like influencer lifestyle on Instagram to fictional characters.
Yeah, that's fair.
And all these brand deals. And all this stylish fashion that you're talking about, spending all this money on furniture and clothes, it's not as accessible in the real world as it is in the prop closet on a Hollywood set. So you have to constantly remind yourself, this is not real.
Yes.
Let me just enjoy this for what it is. And then, of course, rent control is apparently the go-to explanation for every writer for every show. It's like, well, how do they afford it? Rent control.
But not as realistic. Always, yeah.
Most people listening will never get to experience that.
That, yes. Another one I'd say is just having, there's ways to be generous. And a lot of, the characters we talked about, whether it's Kramer or Joey, go into their friends' refrigerators and eat their food and use their stuff.
Find friends you can mooch off of.
Which is, it's not terrible, but also it's okay to set some boundaries. So it'd be okay to say, hey, I got to pay for that stuff, right? I think that's
I would
fair.
be having those conversations.
Yes, I think that would be fair. And of course, real estate and things like San Francisco and New York City is going to be inflated. Some of the most expensive real estate on the planet. So even though it looks fun to go and hang out with your friends at a coffee shop all day in New York City, it may not be a realistic life. So just remember that.
Yeah, people that want to move to New York and they're just like, I just want to live in New York and I'm just going to get any job. And then they're angry that they can't afford it. Like, no one's entitled to just live wherever they want.
I know.
Without being able to afford
it.
Though. It would be fun.
I know.
So you got to get your income up. That's a big part. If you want to live this life, you got to get your income up and keep your expenses down. Live on less than you make.
Yes, to enjoy the big city living. Okay, so do you think that there's a show at all, George, that actually portrays life and salary and I don't know, like real life?
Just very normal. I feel like The Office is the most like normcore lifestyle.
So true.
Like they live in Scranton, Pennsylvania. It's not a big flashy city.
Yes.
They work at sad cubicles. They probably all make very normal salaries. It's actually probably
a lot like America. I mean, like I feel like that's a lot of people's job.
I think that's why people love the show though.
It's so all the characters. Oh my gosh, that's a funny show. No, that is one I've watched.
Thank you.
That is funny.
But everything's just kind of mediocre. They're going to Chili's. It's fine.
Yes.
It's middle class fancy.
Middle class
but
fancy.
I like that.
Oh man, that's good, George. Gosh, we could have picked There are hundreds of shows to pick from.
Maybe we'll do this again.
Yeah, I know, but this was great because it's good. I think it's so interesting of what reality would have been for these characters. So
it's a great reminder.
It's a good reminder. That's right, George. All right. So we're almost to the end of the episode, and we like to close out every episode with Guilty as Charged. And this is where our producer, Lindsay, gives us a new Guilty as Charged question every week. And if we are guilty, we have to take a sip. So, Lindsay, what is it this week?
Let's stay on brand of this episode.
Oh, wow.
Are you guilty of having a unrealistic expectation about life because of a show? So like for me, like High School Musical or like Saved by the Bell, like they have the ocean outside of there. And I was like, it's my high school's gonna be so cool and everyone's gonna be like dancing and it's gonna be so fun. No. None of our high schools look like that. None of it's that cool.
That's so true.
Do you have
any? I think on a social aspect, a lot of these shows make it look like you just hang out with friends 24/7.
Yes.
And when you're done with work, sometimes you're just tired and you're going to go home. And like, you just don't, the social aspect makes it feel like you're like, and maybe we should have more communal type living where we're across the hall in apartments and we're just in and out of people's places. But realistically, that doesn't happen. Or at least in my life, that didn't happen. It takes way more effort to see people and all that.
Oh, for sure.
I think what I'm realizing is the shows that I actually love are very realistic in terms of people, not living on less than they make and having to deal with the ramifications. Yeah. So shows like Parks and Rec and The Office are my favorites because they're just normal people doing stupid stuff. And I see myself in that. I'm like, that's me.
So you had a realistic view of life?
You never saw the movie and thought like, that's what I think blank will be like.
Oh,
do you know what I mean? Because I just feel like growing up especially.
La La Land with Ryan Gosling, I was like, I want to be Ryan Gosling so bad in this movie. He can just like play jazz.
That's not her question.
No.
You said it's unrealistic.
No, I'm talking like
okay,
like a scenario in life that like you
Why are
literally
you guys
thought,
angry? All of a sudden, I'm being attacked.
We are ganging up on it.
No, did you see a movie and think, ooh, an office job sounds
That's
really
what that
cool
looks like.
Because like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like I saw that, I was like, ooh, I want to work at an office in New York City. But it's probably
my
not
life
that,
would look like this.
It's probably not that fun and glamorous and beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I said about the high school. Like I thought literally when I got to high school it was gonna look like that. I'm like, no, it's not.
Oh, and then it was a jarring realization that it's nothing like that.
Anything, like any
Welcome
movie,
to the Guilty as Charged question, George.
Oh my God.
I want to be Ryan Gosling.
High School Musical?
I get it.
I get college.
I mean, thank you.
College is another one. You see a college campus in a movie.
I felt like it was gonna be
the
Pitch
rom-coms,
Perfect.
you're like, oh my gosh, everything's gonna look like that and be so
My
glamorous.
nightmare is life being pitch perfect and everyone around me is breaking out into a cappella group sing-alongs, into like gang standoffs
now
with
that's
a
a
cappella
funny
groups.
movie.
It's a great
That's
movie.
a funny movie.
But,
That's why I can't enjoy things like that. I guess I'm like hyper-realistic.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I can't enjoy anything in life.
Oh wow, you're
I don't
fun.
think that's true. I think you're enjoying a lot of things in life, but
If you have to tell someone they're fun, they're not fun.
That's it. I know.
no,
Yeah.
this just went. This backfired.
Guys, I'm sorry.
I got it, Lindsay. It's okay,
Thank you.
George.
You did great.
George, why don't you do what you do
Thanks.
best and go back to the podcast and tell us about
Wow.
what we sipped on today?
Shots fired.
Yo, for there not being any alcohol in this drink, y'all are spicy.
We did gang up on you a little bit.
Okay, this is a sundowner and real downer of an episode at that. Here's what's in it. White grape juice, sparkling water, and a little sprig of mint. That's it.
It's delicious. I mean, I took
It's
mine
kind
down.
of a take on,
It's really
like
good.
a sparkling white wine, I
Yeah,
would say.
yeah.
It's very light, very refreshing.
It's really good.
Put it in a wine glass,
Oh,
and you'll feel very fancy.
That would be really fun. That's good.
What would you rate this drink?
I mean, I'm going to go a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I thought it was really
I like
great.
that.
I would make it again.
Okay.
I thought it was delicious.
I'm gonna go 5 out of 10. I just need something a little more with a little more punch and flavor.
You just need alcohol?
No, I mean just like a lemonade, just something that has a little more
Oh, okay.
bite to
like
it, tart,
It was very light.
more of like a juice. White grape juice is pretty light.
I hear you. I hear
So
you.
that's I'm being honest. I didn't know it wasn't allowed.
That was great.
I'm learning a lot today about honesty and when it's appropriate and not
We're gonna
appropriate.
chill.
So the cost breakdown per glass is $1.06.
Oh, it's
So
not
you
great.
can make a giant pitcher of this and serve it at your next party.
And it's delicious. So good. So great. Well, you guys, the recipe will be in the show notes, so make sure to check that out. And it's closing time, George. So You guys, thanks for watching and listening. And make sure to review. Please type in a little review because it does help with the algorithm, with our self-esteem, all of it.
That's the more important part. Let me remind you.
We love to read it. We love to hear from you guys that reach out.
Have you looked at them lately? There's about 1,000 from the coffee episode, and people are just commenting espresso.
I told him to. We told him to.
Espresso. Just trying to rile me up.
So good. Oh my gosh.
I do enjoy reading them.
So fun. So fun. And make sure to subscribe too so you don't miss any episodes because next Thursday there's going to be a new episode of Smart Money Happy Hour.